Well, g'day everybody and welcome back to the Hardball Gets AFL show. This podcast is proudly brought to you by the Mazda BT50 Ute Do Ute. Today on the show, it's the 2-minute warning out of round 12. If you haven't subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast, please do that. Leave us a rating, leave us a review and tell your mates. All right, let's get stuck in. This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name is Nick Rynne, joined by Xavier Ellis and Jackson Barrett today, stepping in off the pine. Where's Ryan at? Ryan at Coral Bay?
Yes.
How the other half live, you know?
For a 40th. I had to drive up.
I would drive. I like a big drive.
You have
likewise.
kids.
Road trip.
Yeah.
You have kids?
Well, yeah, hopefully they fly.
No.
Whack them on a plane.
Yeah.
See you in
if you're
3 days.
kids, if you're kids, you're in there and you're in the bird. I don't care what you say.
Well, we drove from Brisbane to Rockhampton. That's, non-kids, that's about 8-9 hours. With kids, 10, 11.
It's hard.
Two of the oldest in the car.
Okay.
Baby flu.
What about this week, actually? It is the Ellis family holiday. It was Saturday.
Oh, really?
Broome for 8 nights. The only thing is I'm not invited. Makes zero sense.
You get your own holiday.
Makes
though, right?
absolutely zero sense.
Wait, is this the rest of your family?
I've got 2 weeks off in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
But they're going away this week for a week.
They all went early.
Makes absolutely zero sense. Don't know.
Tight invite list.
No, it just costs a fortune too, bro.
Yeah, it's not. I was thinking about Broome. It's back up. It's now like super expensive again. Well, there was a patch there where it wasn't too bad, right?
It's like getting rammed by a horse.
You do love a cheap holiday destination, Broome and Rocknest.
That is a double ramming.
Yeah. So we're well into the bye rounds now. It's not that bad, right? There's still a lot of footy around.
Absolutely. It's split over an extra week, of course, with the bye rounds this year. Only one team kicked over 100 points last week. I think 6 or something did this week.
Yeah, good game.
It was also the games you weren't expecting to be good ones. Like that Sunday looked like a pretty nothing day of footy, but both ended up being rippers.
Yeah,
even the Suns popping 100 on Adelaide. 4, 5, 6. 6 sides scored over 100 this week.
There you go. Yeah, the worst game of it all was the Friday night one, right?
And so there you go. So, sorry, 6 over 100.
Why do you have a screwdriver?
A 99-pointer and a 97-pointer. How good's that?
Why do you have a screwdriver in your hand? You bring that or you find that here? I'm a little concerned.
No, bring that.
yeah, all right.
No, I stole it from work. Pool fence shattered.
Yeah.
Glass everywhere. Considered just grabbing it and just like cutting myself there at one stage. As I was just down on my knees in the rain. It was raining on me. Had the noise-cancelling headphones in. I was like, what's that noise? Took it out and I was right in the middle of the thunderstorm too. So lucky lightning didn't get me. And no, I've got to get it to pick like the glass
so this
out
is
of
in
the
your
brackets.
Okay, all right, good to know.
You don't have a screwdriver at home?
No, I saw it at work and just thought I'll steal that now.
Just so you've got it on
just
hand.
so I know, like rather than go home and try and find it in the shed, I just got it.
Smart.
All right, we're going reverse order from the top again. So we're kicking it off with Collingwood.
I've got the Collingwood Football Club. They were okay on the weekend. Started the game really well. Injuries. So Hoskin Elliott came off. Johnson came off with the world's biggest corky.
Yep.
Hill came off with an ankle. McCreary got subbed out.
Yep. Foot.
Side bottom's already out. So the last 4 weeks, I've done a bit of a dive into Collingwood. They're obviously going exceptionally well. The last 4 games they've played, how many top 8 sides do you reckon they've played?
They played a few, haven't they?
Well, they had West Coast and North the last 2.
0.
Really?
Not one top 8 side the last 4. This is their run the next 6 weeks with those injuries considering. Melbourne, Adelaide, Suns on the Gold Coast, Dogs at Marvel, Fremantle and Port Adelaide away.
So it's pretty much every week you're going to be watching a Magpies game, right?
I think so, and I think that now this is where it's going to be the great level. They're flying, I get it. But they've beaten no one the last month. Those injuries add up. I was saying on this episode, this podcast, still side bottom, it was in not all Australian form because they'll find a way. But
It's playing very good.
the level of importance on that wing with Josh Dacos was huge. You take that out. I don't know. I just feel like, what do you think the next month The injuries have been, and they'll all be down as, I think you've got it up, Jacko,
Yeah,
as
I do.
unsure, will they miss, won't they miss? But gee, they look like some sore boys there.
Well, this is filed from before this game, so those guys haven't been added. There are some whispers that McCreary may be like a syndesmosis. So
Yeah, well, it's subbed out straight after half-time.
Yep.
That's a big one.
But in the mix over the next couple of weeks are Jeremy Howe, Pat Lipinski, and Dan McStay. They're like that. So there's a...
McStay come back in. And we all know that I'll go
a
hard on Dan
what
McStay.
are you saying? Dan McStay's not coming back in.
I know. That
Yeah.
hurts me to say that. But...
Probably
big
not right now, no.
Coxilla's been going well. My check's had 5 contested marks on the weekend, kicked 3, I think it was. My check was good. Johnson, I think, has been a revelation. Just as a spark flies, he's going to take mark of the year 1 in the next 20 attempts.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't mark it, no one marks it.
Kanky, even the goals, you think that's a 50-50 chance. It's a 70-30 for him.
Yeah, no, I think the big recruit won't come back in. But do you see Collingwood maybe slowing a fraction?
Yeah, I can see them dropping a couple of those for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they still, it's a classic. They looked red hot for 2 quarters against West Coast, but how do you judge whether
Well, the last doesn't count because the no interchange for 3 quarters,
Correct,
I would have
yeah.
thought. First quarter was good.
Although they didn't have an interchange either.
Nick Dacos.
That was unreal. That's the first time I've seen him live.
Yeah,
And,
and it wasn't even his best game.
no.
Sitting pretty in second on the ladder, Port Adelaide.
Yeah, I've got Port Adelaide.
Only lost 2 games this year.
They're,
Really?
they're
Two of the
actually
first
absolutely
3.
flying. I think their forward line is pushing for top 3 in the comp right now. So Brisbane, very, very good. Geelong, very good. We like Adelaide's as well. But they started with Finlayson, Marshall, Ollie Lords come along pretty quickly. I like DBJ down there. Sam Powell-Pepper's having a good season. Fantasia can't make the side. Rioli's in there. I really want to see Quinton Narkle get a run. Had 29 touches, 6 inside 50s.
In the twos.
In the
his
twos.
first run.
His first run.
Yeah, in his first run. I just think like at some point every year.
And then Connor Rosie or someone off half forward
Yeah,
for
him
a little
and
bit.
Butters sort of roll through. At some point in every year, a club goes, oh, we want someone to come in and bring a bit of chaos, especially late in the year. And I reckon Narkle's going to do that. I also think it's time. I think they probably have to move Georgiades on now, don't they? Don't they have to cash in on that, given that
I think
Lord's
so.
coming along?
Well, Marshall's a big... Well, they kicked 10 between them. Finlayson had 5 again.
Marshall had 5.
He's been great. Marshall had 5. And, of course, big Charlie Dixon's in the wings as well. Look, I think you got it. What is the value of Georgiades, though? He was in the 2s and then blows an ACL.
If you can get a good return for him this year, you move him.
What are you
but I
getting?
also wouldn't- Well, it's a good question. Second rounder. Before you dropped him, you'll probably... It's sort of worst case scenario. You drop him to...
If he's
teach him a
played
lesson,
all
then he
year,
does
it
an
was
ACL.
first. Yeah.
It's probably slid to second now.
Did he
They'd
do an
argue for first.
ACL in the AFL, or was it in the 2s when he did it?
Pretty sure it was in the twos.
I think it was in the 2s.
Was it? Yeah.
That's worst case scenario
Oh,
for
no.
list management committee.
Yeah.
I think it's a 2. It's a second. They'll ask for a first. They'll get a second and maybe a future something.
Yeah.
I know Paul Hazelby wrote about a mega trade in the West over the weekend, but do you look and
that had some comments.
it didn't land overly well, but do you look to tie it up with something like a bit of a WA club key position shuffle and see how it shakes out?
Well, who's going to go for it? A West Coast in a position to
West
take a
Coast.
Hail
I
Mary?
think the Oscar Allen, Mitch Georgiades forward line is pretty enticing, especially if they're giving up a second rounder for him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I wonder if he takes it or if he look into victory. Because the word was he wasn't necessarily going to come home if he went anywhere.
I think he's coming home.
He's coming home. Melbourne. So they put away a poor side, which is good. Something they haven't really been clicking still. Forward line still issues, but with Van Rooyen, Chandler, Fritsch, Pickett, there's enough down there. How do you
But I'm
feel
sick of
about
saying
it?
it's enough. Like, it's not enough.
You don't
They've just
think
got
it's
good enough players everywhere else.
Well,
They
yeah,
didn't
but you can
excite
win a
me on
premiership with
Friday
that.
night.
They didn't excite me at all.
No. This is
At
the
all.
question I'm asking. Where do you see, how are you feeling
They're lucky
about it
they've
at the
got a
moment?
set defence and they've got a set midfield because their forward lines are shit.
And even their defence is being people are starting to figure out ways around it. And if they don't have the cattle around them, like the Penguins.
Yeah, I know they're off the back of 2 losses. But, what did
No
Carlton
Clary.
score on the weekend?
What,
44 points or
There you
something.
go.
Yeah, so they're pretty. The good sides are figuring out ways around. Let me clarify that.
Yeah, did you see that someone made a comment? Is Bailey Fritsch hungry enough? Was he lost his hunger or
he's
something?
Bailey
I
Fritsch
still
is fine.
don't. I still don't think he's your number 1 forward though. He's the player that is a middle matchup. You go small on him, he can mark it. You go tall on him, he's agile.
Yeah.
But he's your third forward who will probably kick you most goals. But the way he's designed, he'll probably
You don't want him
take
taking the
third.
first defender
Nah.
and having to work into the big contests. And I don't know. Do you need like a big
Pickett's
dog?
fallen off the world, hasn't he?
He has significantly.
In an ideal world, Van Rooyen's your second forward, and either a Brown or a McDonald are taking marks and giving a contest and drawing a decent forward. But neither of them are doing that at the moment, which hurts them seriously, I think.
So this is Kazai's Pickett's last 7 games: 0 goals, 0 goals, 1 goal, 0, 1-1.
Yeah, you're going to be doing a little bit more than that. What was the start of the year? It was like 4s?
Well, we kicked 5 against West Coast after his suspension.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's a better.
Oh, that's such a tough, but he needs to be the 6th best forward, where he can just cram and get busy.
Yeah.
Whereas, Van Rooyen, who we're rooting for, being a WA boy or whatever, but like, I'm not going to finals.
He's his second year player.
Simon Goodwin going. We're sweet up front.
Brisbane rounding out the top 4.
Right off the back of the Collingwood next 5. Brisbane I haven't been that thrilled by, but how many of these do they win the next 5 to set their season right up? Hawthorn,
Yep.
Sydney,
Yep.
St Kilda,
Yep.
Richmond,
Yep.
West Coast.
Yep.
I think
5
they go
from
the
5.
next. I think they go 5 from 5, and then all of a sudden they're top 2. Collingwood maybe drop 2 of that little bit there, and all of a sudden we're thinking, how good's the setup for Brisbane? They've had the bye. Funnily enough, Zorko's been suspended as well. He's had an extra week to freshen up. I don't know. I think that the timing and the matter of momentum going to finals, and it's all about momentum and getting that freight train moving. I think this next 5 weeks is moving week for Brisbane.
There's the 3 sides now, right, that are making it very hard for you. Most of the other ones you can pick apart an area and be like, this is why they can't do it. But with Brisbane, Port Adelaide and Collingwood, it's becoming harder and harder to pick it apart.
Well,
just
that's why
operating
now
well.
I'm looking at the draws.
Yeah.
And going, who's had a bit of an easier run?
And that comes back a little bit to Melbourne. Like, I'm hotter on those 3 clubs, significantly hotter on those 3 clubs than I am
Brisbane?
Melbourne.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm with you there. And Melbourne, on the weekend, I wrote in the West yesterday, the only person who's going to rewatch that tape is Christian Petrarca.
Yeah.
That's the only. That was the only person who you thought, that was special.
You got to mix it in with his cooking videos.
Yeah.
Mate, I love him.
They're pretty good.
But
mate.
someone kept saying, mate, give us the recipes because
I want to have it written down.
Now
Like,
he
you can
started.
watch the TikToks and you're
A
like,
little,
I'll try
little
that.
graphic overlay. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Now he
I'd
started
love
putting
that.
the ingredients in the exact amounts.
Good
I
man.
saw it
Okay,
yesterday.
great.
Prolific, isn't he? How many? You got to go back and count how many he does a week. Like,
No,
there's
he's
a lot.
amazing.
There's a lot of videos out here.
He's an all-rounder.
I'd snap up a Christian Petrarca cookbook, like, without a doubt.
I thought you just meant like as a partner, life partner. I'd
Oh,
step up
well,
Christian
yeah,
Petrarca.
both.
I would as well.
No, I'm
Jeez
with you on
Louise.
that. If Petrarca, and maybe that's the grand vision of putting all this out there and getting
Get the ball
100,000
rolling on
TikTok
it.
followers
Yeah.
to go, oh, here you go, here's a cookbook.
Here's a book.
Petrarca.
We're onto it here, Jacko.
St Kilda.
That's me. Last year's they had the bye this weekend, so last year's 2022 All-Australian backline, Tom Stewart, May, Braden Maynard, Jack Sinclair, Sam Taylor, Adam Sard. I think there's a world in which Jack Sinclair's the only player to retain his spot.
I think Tom Stewart's just warming up.
Yeah, but he's spent a little bit of time injured. I think he'll
Sam
get going.
Taylor's injured the whole time.
Sam Taylor's injured.
out.
Sard, no. Maynard, not as good as
Who
last
did you
year.
say
May,
was the only
not as-
one?
I think Sinclair.
I think there's a world that he nearly misses it too.
I think
I
he's
think
getting
he
into
will.
it.
No, but he's playing a lot more midfield and stuff now.
He had a slow
He's not
start.
a
That's why they
defender.
need places to put
Yeah,
midfielders in.
But
the
they're now
Australian team.
no Hunter Clark as well, so I reckon
Yeah.
he'll move into that role. 27 and 2 goals from halfback against
Yeah.
GWS. I love Jack Sinclair. I think he makes it again. And then the ins are like Dacos, Moore, Charlie Ballard, maybe Harris Andrews.
Collingwood
maybe.
could have
I think
three.
Ballard. Yeah,
Jordan
I like
Dawson.
Ballard.
Can I throw one in for Collingwood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac Quainer.
I saw
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
Been floated. I like
yeah.
it.
If you were picking an All-Australian team to play a game, he'd be your lockdown small
But
defender.
my back pockets and full back would be Quainer, Moore, Maynard.
Yeah, okay.
So you reckon Maynard
Collingwood.
keeps going? Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're the best team, and they just are very hard to play against. But anyway, I agree. The All-Australian stuff, gee, it's hard. It's a tough job. But everyone knows my thoughts on picking wings and not picking wings.
Actually pick wings. Yeah.
Yeah. I think is the best of those sort of running halfbacks, Dacos aside, best of those sort of running halfbacks this year.
Funny, though, like Dacos is now doing 50-50
Yeah,
bounces.
yeah.
Sinclair's now doing 50-50,
Yeah.
which he wasn't last year.
So I've written before about I don't think Dacos should be a midfielder just because he can be. Like I still think so damaging across half back, but he's just so sharp around contests, and you need him in there sometimes. Like so, he's at about 40%.
It was so
CBAs
impressive
last
to
few
watch.
weeks.
It was so impressive to watch.
Both goals. So the one where he gave that little handball off to Tom Mitchell, knowing full well he was getting it back.
Yeah.
To keep the goal, and then the goal
then even
once it
like
opened up at the other end,
grubbing it to Pendles.
Yep.
Nah, Pendles, you're not marking that, mate. Give it back to me.
He knows what he's doing.
Couple of the over the back, no look handballs. It was
I haven't. There's a lot more handballs sneaking into the game that aren't handballs, right?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
All these big over the top, like
But you can
hot
get those
potatoes.
right. They can be illegal, but you can also get them right.
I don't think
I reckon the best, they're legitimate.
But,
We're on to Essendon. Look. It's a man who loves the second half of the season, and he's just getting started now. And you wait, Zach Merritt, your man. Here he comes. What a game on the weekend.
Oh, what a quarter. That first quarter was off its head.
It was a great game. Or concern as much as positive, you think, for Essendon, that North Melbourne had that much of a dip?
No, I thought I had a couple of bucks on North, so I was flat.
You thought they'd come good?
No, I just thought Essendon, their 50-point margin over West Coast, I didn't think was that impressive.
Yeah.
Like, kicked the first 4 and then sort of dilly-dallied for a while.
And they're one, I think that's their season, but they're probably still going to play finals because they're draws.
The only position they've got nailed is defence, I reckon. The only part of the ground.
I didn't think they had that nailed. I think Jaden Laverde coming back has been huge because it's unlocked Zerk Thatcher. It's meant that
Ridley's had a big 2
Ridley's
weeks.
been really good. Yeah. Kyle Langford is just a forward now, and he's great down there. So I reckon that addition has been surprisingly big. I'm excited to watch them with Peter Wright.
But you put we forget that
he's
the
coming
best
back.
and first winner. Redmond, huge, and of course Andy McGrath down there as well.
Nick Martin on a wing.
There's not many spots in that defence where you go that player's vulnerable.
So
the big Thatch we saw on Hawkins
struggled.
Is always a question. I thought Oscar Allen had,
but that would have been Laverde's job if he was playing.
Yeah.
So the one that piqued my interest was Dylan Shield getting subbed off, obviously coming back from injury. They said it was planned, but I wondered what was going on in his head when he's being subbed off late in a tight game, where he's probably thinking, like, I could be the difference here. And it got me looking.
Well, it hasn't been the difference for 10
it hasn't
years.
But he probably he comes across as that kind of a player.
Deal, I think.
So Essendon and GWS are the two clubs. Where do you think he had a higher disposal average?
Oh, I think he was a better player at the Giants.
Yeah, and he did have higher disposal. So he's averaging 23 at Essendon, 24 at GWS, but that counts his rookie years as well.
But also
skewed down.
But that final, the prelim where he got knocked out by
Trent Cotchin. Yeah.
Well, that was a big
change. Did he get suspended for that?
No.
His 18th fine of the season, wasn't it?
How many weeks would a Koch got if he did that now? But I think he would have. He was a difference maker in that side.
Yeah.
At Essendon, I've never seen him as the difference maker.
No, it's funny. They gave 2 first rounders. Probably one of those ones you would have been better off just holding it. Moving on to
the Western Bulldogs.
Western Bulldogs.
Gee whiz, their good's good, their bad's bad. It's up and down. It's up and down. I feel like you see the ball getters on the weekend. 9 of the top 10 were the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Yet, you're starting Rory Lobb. Rory Lobb was on the wing at times, and I can't.
Wasn't ever long.
I know we use the Rory Lobb thing probably too much. Sam Darcy kicked 1 goal, 5 in the twos. That would have been the perfect transition. If he kicks 5-1,
yeah, straight in.
I'm saying, well, you've earned your spot and you can part-time ruck.
Yeah.
But he's had a jaw operation, Sam Darcy, so he's out.
There was a lung issue as well, wasn't there?
Was it jaw? Sure, I read jaw before. Anyway, I think now I would rather them just go small. I know Crozier's been a defender at Bulldogs. You've got
started his life.
You got Darcy. McLean's there still in the twos.
Hanger at Subi in the under 18s.
Under 18s, one of the greats.
I just think now, 6 disposals for the Lobster.
Yeah,
I've seen enough. You've got plenty of ball. If you can't find space for a Bontempelli or a Treloar or someone to hit you on the
you're 206
chest.
centimetres with big long arms.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it hasn't worked. I think it's time to make that change. And Adam Treloar, did you see him throw the mouth guard and stuff? What did you think?
Oh,
done?
Yeah,
it looked like he was done.
Yeah, mate, and then comes out and has 30 odd and
but I
picks one from 50.
But I thought he was cooked when he did it against JWS 2 weeks ago.
He did the old Mitch Brown.
He does them all the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Mitch Brown waving goodbye to the people at Suvi in the shower crying. Jacob Brennan's in there cuddling him in his suit. Missed one with an ankle.
Come back and have 30.
I thought he was shot, but I mean, he's had a tough run with them as well. The video popped up the other day of him doing both of them.
Yeah, on the bounce line. That popped up in my algorithm as well.
Yeah.
Cut the dogs short. I'm sick
yeah,
of the dogs.
Probably a little bit. Geelong.
Oh, yep, that's me. They've just been so up and down, and I think the bye comes at a really nice time because then they play Port Adelaide the week after. But what I did like on the weekend was the return of some of the role player guys, the 15 to 23 guys that got them where they needed to be in September. So Zach Tui really good. Tom Atkins hasn't had a great year, but six clearances, so he looked a little bit better. Zach Guthrie had 13 kicks. Jed Buse, and then your man Oisin Mullen coming in.
He's leading the AFL.com.au yesterday. I saw trying to ride out coattails.
Yeah. College Jazz
I still reckon you're talking about the wrong bloke, probably.
Little bloke with a ponytail. Little Bob.
So Irish Nick Dacos, they reckon.
Yeah. He won two Rising Star Awards, basically.
It's impressive stuff.
Popped over the
I still don't know how he's lobbed on it. Like I can't work it out.
This could actually be end up being one of the great early calls. I mean, I'm not as excited about his first 2 games as some others, but
come along, mate.
Did you read that
Come along
quote?
for the ride.
It was like after a historic debut or something.
Oh, because there were so many Irishmen in the side. That's why it was historic.
But made it sound like he did something.
Yeah, he's had 12 touches.
Outrage. Yeah, well,
and then 10 this weekend.
Me and Sal were like, I don't think didn't do that much. Like he was okay.
He was fine.
And but the clickbait.
Yeah,
it was like he'd get 40.
It's an impressive story.
Reincarnate.
Yeah, it's an impressive story in that he only played 3 VFL games. I find that tough to wrap my head around. But yeah, I just think more broadly with Geelong, like. They're guys at the bottom end of the list that weren't doing a hell of a lot this year are starting to get rolling, and that's ominous.
How do you feel that'll play out when Guthrie, Duncan, Stanley,
that's
Danger,
the thing, they're coming back?
They all come back.
Can't bring them all back together,
or maybe you do, and it's just how good it is because all of a sudden those players are playing at their peak. But it's going to be interesting for Geelong. Do you reckon they make the 8?
I've still got them in that 6 to 8 range.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah, I'd probably you'd have to back them in, right?
I think you have to back them in. I don't think there's any way to go about it, but
it's going to be a good finish.
Being impressive.
It's going to be a good finish with, you look at Essendon, Bulldogs, Geelong, Adelaide, Freo, Suns, all in that same sort of range.
It's on for young and old.
Yeah.
And every club
throw St Kilda in there.
Every club's got something a bit different that'll help them get there.
So we are under Adelaide. Still holding the chips on the top 4.
I'm chips off there, but
you're taking it, but they still they've got. So old mate in the UK jumped on, found him for £7 for a top 4 finish, and he got right into that.
What are you talking about?
Some guy he got in touch with us on Instagram, let us know he found Adelaide.
Well, you need to tell us the story.
£7,
right? So someone Instagrammed you.
Hardball gets AFL.
Okay, so we don't
Instagram.
have access to that, so I've never seen it.
Okay, so he sent us the thing on Instagram saying he found him as a top 4 finish for Adelaide, paying £7 in the UK.
Oh, nice. This is a bloke that's just randomly flicking through whatever the tab touch equivalent is there. Like we might throw something on Kazakhstan volleyball on a Wednesday morning.
He's found
Adelaide, Gold Coast, whatever. Just whack it on.
Top 4 finish.
The biggest multi I've ever seen someone win was a leg in there. It was like needed Nature Strip to win the Everest or whatever was the final leg. But in there was like Thailand table tennis.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
You get real bored.
Yeah.
This bloke's just tacked it onto the end of his FA Cup final.
Here it comes.
Multi.
Man City into Adelaide.
Yeah.
So they've won 6 and they've run. So they got the Eagles this week by then Collingwood, North, Essendon. How many of these think you win? Okay, let's go. Eagles.
Yeah.
Collingwood.
No.
50-50 off the back of the injury run.
North, Melbourne.
Yes.
Essendon.
Yes.
GWS.
Yes.
Melbourne.
No.
Port Adelaide.
No. So now that's where we start to run out.
Gold Coast.
50.
Depends where it is, yeah.
Yeah, in Adelaide. It'll be in Adelaide.
I've given them the upset over Collingwood. I can't give them another upset in that run.
Yeah, so they may end up... This run might not be as good as we thought it was the other week.
No.
But I'm still backing them in to come good.
Well, the Suns, I think we use as a bit of a weapon to make a point at times.
Now they're becoming good.
They've still got the Suns, and now it's like the Suns are equal with 8th.
Yeah, they're going okay. And Fremantle.
Fremantle, are we happy with Sonny's 2 years? He'll be 34 at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's a category of players who you kind of have to give the 2 years. Same as Nick Natanui, like the 1 year's, bring age and everything else into it. But
I think just the position of Fremantle Footy Club, I think it's a perfect contract. 2 years, experienced. He's got
form this year.
Hey?
Found his form.
Found his form, yeah. But I think West Coast aren't at the stage to be giving out 2 year deals because they haven't started the build. Whereas Fremantle, no, they've got the players on the list, and now they can go to free agency and start adding if they need to. I think giving the 2 years, I'm happy for a superannuation payment to stars occasionally.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but two.
You got to be right. You got to be the right category of player.
Yeah, but also you got to be coming up the ladder too. Like naturally, Sonny and Fifey aren't going to grab that footy club and drag them up any higher. But they're going to win a game or two a year by kicking 3 or 4 or having Brownlow votes like Fife.
I think the difference between Fife and Walters is that there's no one like banging down the door to be a small forward. Like there was a bit of talk about them potentially taking Robert Hansen in the mid-season draft, and he went much higher. But that whole thing was about like long-term Michael Walters replacement.
Yeah.
Like, he's not keeping.
But they've got enough
small
small forwards as well. I put Bailey Banfield in there. You got Switkowski, Schultz, Sonny, Banfield.
Slightly different role in that Walters isn't going up to stop him.
No, of
anymore.
course. But I mean, Frederick, Henry, I know they're playing around the wings or whatever, but he could play small forward. I really like it. And who comes in for Sean Darcy? How does that ruck play out?
Jackson is the main ruck. Tracy's been playing the chop-out role
It's
in
Corbett
the twos.
for me.
Corbett?
Spoken about it before, but I want them to have another look at Corbett.
He didn't do a lot in the twos on the weekend.
I want to see
Your man Sevic Queck.
Well,
Rhino said on Triple M this morning that the old Queckster's a chance.
Here he comes. Quack, quack, quack.
Oh, no.
Walters spoke very highly of Sevic Queck on radio today. Yeah.
He's good, mate. He's been kicking like consistent goals. I mean, he had a bad one on the weekend. It was pouring rain.
Yeah.
Bring him in.
Okay.
Gold Coast.
Yeah, so I've got Gold Coast. Obviously liked a lot of what they've done over the last couple of weeks in Darwin, and it sparked a bit of a conversation on Twitter about this sort of Northern Suns.
Jack Luko's just the best Darwin player ever.
Yeah, the Darwin specialist.
Well, it's a lucrative title.
Yeah,
Jack Darling's kicked lots of goals up there.
He's kicked 5 as well. That was the most, yeah.
Couple of Jacks. I don't know if you're across this, the whole Northern Suns concept.
Because
so
I thought it was going to be Logan.
I saw that tweet. I enjoyed that.
The idea of this being to sort of like reinvigorate them, Darwin, Cairns, Gold Coast.
Yes,
they can remain based in Gold Coast, but
from
call
a
them Northern
Queenslander,
Suns.
you cannot. That does not make sense.
Crossing to
Gold
MT.
Coast is at the very south of the border, like
Correct.
right above the border of New South Wales. So you're in Queensland.
You
can't call them the Northern Suns.
Yeah, but you're looking at it from an AFL, from
national
Melbourne
perspective.
Yeah, well, why?
And
It doesn't make sense in their own area.
And does Queensland give a shit? Like it'll be if that was to happen,
the
it would be
7,000 Suns members would probably be very.
the
up
lifeblood of that team would end up being in Darwin, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
If
and they
that
have
was
to play more. It just it does not make sense from a local.
I've seen
at
enough
all.
footy in Darwin, I think. I think 2 or 3 times a year is good.
But if you were,
Suns want to base it.
Oh, no, because they used to that ball being a bit dewy, but it's dew on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, they love it up there.
But if that concept was to play out, you could pick the most favourable time, and I don't know Darwin's climate, I've never been there, but the most favourable time of year to play.
I'll give you the hot tip. It's either hot and steamy or it's piss and rain.
So now I don't need to go.
Yeah.
So I've taken that off the bucket list. I'll whack something else on the bottom. I don't know. I didn't mind it. They just need some reinvigorating, don't they? They just need something.
Yeah, I think
Dale
Thomas made a point, actually. We were very quick to criticise Gold Coast.
They're going all right, yeah.
And we're like, Stewie Jew's not getting many pats on the back.
No.
For what they're doing now. Like, they're playing good footy. The kids are playing well. Matt Rowe's playing like #1 draft pick.
They're equal on points with eighth place.
I said that moments ago.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I know. I heard you. Just reiterating. Such a good point. I thought I'd underline it. Sydney. So the one the people who've spoken, they want to hear the reaction. 7 years, longest contract in the AFL now. Nick Blakey.
Look, you know I love the lizard.
Yeah, I thought this would be conflicting.
What about someone tweeted me, how long can a lizard live for? 7 years.
If you chopped off a leg, you reckon he'd grow one back?
The lizard. There's nothing worse when you pull a lizard's tail and it drops off and then it just starts wiggling for a while. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Accidentally step on it and then it's
there goes the lizard tail.
Yeah. What are you doing?
7 years too long for anyone. I've said it 1,000 times. Too long for anyone. I know the lizard is a good player and the money I don't care about.
No.
Just the length of deals, 5 years for that type of player.
You know what confuses me too? Like, that probably goes over a broadcast rights. What if I'm sure there's like some kind of clause in there, but God, like it's dangerous in a way, isn't it? Don't you just go right up to free agency and then make your bank?
No, mate, if I was a player, give it to me in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, take the 7, but not club-wise, no.
No, club-wise, hard to work it out. But anyway, I love the Lizard, hate the contract length.
So the other one is Buddy's 350 this weekend. Unbelievable. It just got me thinking, let's name your 3, and this is a very question without warning, 3 best players since 2000. In order.
From 2000. Can we go a little bit later, like Chris Judd time?
Yeah, that's 2000-ish.
Yeah.
Since 2000 and now.
So, like, is James Hurd in that?
Yeah, he counts.
It's
but
a
it's
long
only the
time.
back end of his.
So, wait, do I get his whole career if he was in
No.
the... No, okay.
Since 2000.
I've got Judd, Bud, Dusty.
Are you forgetting someone?
Yeah, I got Junior.
I got Gary Ablett
Yeah.
Jr.
I got Junior, Franklin.
I think
Judd.
I've got him. I don't
Are you
have him
all right
one.
in the head, mate? What are
No,
you
I
saying?
am.
Gary Ablett Jr.'s one of the best 3 players.
I reckon I've got him
since 2000.
first.
You leave this
I've got him 3rd or 4th.
What? Gary Ablett Jr.'s number 1. I've got Buddy 2, then Judd.
I'm with you. I would probably nearly have Bud at 1.
Dusty's won 3 Norm
Jacko,
Smiths.
mate, you're... Nah.
I am
Something's wrong with you,
biased.
son. How old are you? Are you 10?
24.
You know he's
Yeah.
the bald one, yeah?
Yeah,
little
no, I
bald
know
one.
which one
But
he
then
is.
he
I
had
saw
hair,
plenty
he
of
had
him.
hair in 2007,
Early days.
that was the same
yeah,
guy.
Yeah, and he went back to Geelong.
Same
I know
bloke
the
who won
guy.
first Brownlow.
I know the guy.
Brownlows?
Yeah, no, I know the guy, but Dusty's got one, and he won 3 Norm Smiths.
He won a Norm Smith and 2 Brownlows. We're extending this, unextended.
Okay.
Who won a North Smith?
Gary Ablett. No. In the losing side.
I'm not sure he did, mate.
Didn't he win in the losing side?
Didn't Steve Johnson win it in the losing side?
Steve Johnson won it in 2007.
Chapman, Johnson,
No, Gary Ablett won one.
Bartel.
Gary Ablett won one in the losing side.
Chapman.
I know
Johnson,
he's not got a Norm Smith.
Bartel.
Has he not?
Nah.
No.
We should have.
Well, that's a different argument.
Maybe a few years lost in a bad side, but I've got him 4th or 5th.
Oh,
Between
I picked
3
it up,
and
I was like,
5.
yes, he did. 1989.
No. Look, Gary Ablett Jr., just let me run you through the bad side stuff.
Fox Sports did one. I found one in 2020, and they had Gaz, Bud, Voss 3rd ahead of Judd, which you can make an argument for.
Voss was before me.
Yeah.
Jesus, making me feel very old. Then Buckley, Rewald, Pav, Dusty. That was 2020, so Dusty probably jumps up to that top 5 bracket.
So just to that side that was no good, this is his first 3 rounds of 2012. 42-2, 40-2, and then a bit of cream on
That's
top.
all right.
45-2.
No, your boys can do it in
He's
rounds 1
averaging
to
42.
Your boys can do it in round 1 to 4, and I'll just let mine go to work in September. That's fine.
That's outrageous. Oh my God, I love Gary Ablett Jr.
Man,
You can't tell. You've hidden it really well.
No, I've got to find this one.
In that season, these are the games he's had a 53 in there. In round 10, he had 53. In round 12, he had 42-4. Then he had 42-18. Then he's had 43-2. He is something else.
Was it against
And
you blokes he should have won? No.
Tom
he played
Mitchell's had
against us.
50
He was
as
best on ground against us.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm
The
thinking.
grand final, he had 34-2.
That's not bad. What'd you have?
Broke records for marks and kicks and stuff.
Just
And I was being tagged by Lingy and shutting down Bartel, another Brownlow medalist. Can't do much more than that.
Richmond.
Richmond, good win on the weekend. Andrew McQualter. Did you see when the siren went? When the goal went from Piggott, who was just emotionless when he kicked it?
Yeah.
McQualter gives a big fist pump and then realises his head coach grabs the phone and like, oh shit, I got to call down. Richmond Footy Club. They're coming to Perth to play the Dockers.
Yep.
I think they've been a little bit unlucky with Tom Lynch.
Yep.
Would we agree? He would have won the Common last year. Games to goal ratio. I feel like it's hard to get a real measurement on. Taranto was best on ground again on the weekend.
Yeah.
Hopper's been injured again, so he's been out a couple of times now. Hard to get a real, to be the real judge of Richmond. I think I'm letting them off the hook maybe a little bit. Dimmer going as well. You haven't got your best player. And then all of a sudden, Jack Rewald, who was great on the weekend, so it's easy to say, he's not a number 1 forward anymore. He's old. In number 2, you think, great, I might be able to get 40.
So he started really well, and then Jack Buckley, who's been taking best forwards everywhere, actually got on top of him.
Yeah.
As the game wore on.
Game went on, and then got one again late or whatever it was. But I don't know. I just feel like how are we judging Richmond in the direction of the footy club from here? Like, is it just like they've got Taranto and Hopper on 7s? Bad decision. Again, I'd rather Blakey with 7 than those two, but still.
They're a bit
don't like it.
hamstrung now. Those deals and what they gave away for them, hamstrings for a couple of years.
They are, but I still think the names are on the paper.
Yeah.
I think the argument is you have to be pushing for finals while you've got Tom Lynch and you've got that like Coleman medal worthy spearhead. But I think like rod for their own back because the rest of the list isn't at the Tom Lynch, isn't where Tom Lynch and Taranto are. So I think they're in a really tough spot.
Yeah, I don't like. I know that would have Taranto and Hopper come to the club on 4-year deals.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they need 7?
I think they probably
not.
would have done that.
Yeah, I just look at it and think I'm not judging the club yet because they haven't had Tom Lynch.
What is it with 7?
But then
It's
you
just
look
a trend, right? 7, this 7-year deal.
get you to 2030.
Not a lot of 6.
How jarring was it seeing the like 2031?
I said that yesterday.
Yeah.
I said that is.
It was like, oh shit.
That's
the
the
first
future.
one
Yeah.
I've seen with a big number at the end.
That's even after the Jetstones was based.
Do you give Richmond a chance this week over here?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
punch his chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30%.
I won't tip him, but yeah.
Carlton.
Yeah, I've got Carlton.
Thank God. I think it's the first week in a few I haven't had them.
Yeah, it was sort of like tough in a sense because we've sort of just done them to death and everyone's done them to death. I wanted to have a look at Jack Silvani, unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. Can they afford to lose him and Tom de Koning? And if you're Jack Silvani, you've been probably a little bit mistreated at the footy club. Like I don't think he should be playing 2s anywhere. He can play third forward. He can chop out in the ruck. He can play up in a wing. And I think there'd be some pretty decent interest from elsewhere in Jack Silvani.
Do you reckon?
I reckon there would be. I have just noted down Essendon and Hawthorn as possibly potential. Like I reckon a third forward really like unlocks.
Yeah, he's
a
had a
forward
couple of
line.
okay games this season, hasn't he? 19 disposals, 18, 17 and 3 goals.
It's a tough spot to be in behind Mackay and Kerno.
They just need to make the decision on players and package whatever they can to change what's going on there. And if Silvani, I don't think's got a great deal of value, a little bit, but not a first round or anything like that. I think they need to just try and throw caution to the wind and package up a few players and see what they can get back.
If they were to lose, well, it'd be Compo because he's a free agent. If they were to lose de Koning and Jack Silvani, where does that leave their forward line? Let's say Kerno goes down round 1 next year, which is done before.
No, it'd be, but you can't keep holding on to like these players. I don't like de Koning. What's he going to be asking to be paid?
Oh, it's 700
And what's he
pays,
actually valued at? What would you actually
5.
Maximum 5.
Yeah.
So you got to eventually cut ties and say, mate, I'm not. If you become a good player, great, but you're not.
Yeah.
See ya. And unfortunately, that's where you are. And if Kerno goes down first round, that's just stiff shit.
It probably
it's
is
a bit
a
like the Richmond
Yeah,
drama
yeah.
with Lynch.
Probably is a reluctance from some clubs to like let players go, but if you don't value them at that, you don't value them at that.
If you overvalue a player, you're overvaluing your
Cooks
list.
your list, doesn't it?
Yeah.
GWS. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot. I mean, Jack Buckley was huge late. Been close enough in enough games, but I'm really confused about what their window is.
I don't think anyone knows.
I don't think no one knows.
Their
Because
top
they
end talent's still good, and they've got young kids.
Yeah, so but they're not ready. They're clearly not, it's not working now to compete now. But then you can't wait too long because then those guys will be too old.
Watching large parts of that game, I thought, like, why aren't they good?
Yeah,
Because
that's
there's
Yeah.
enough there. Like, there's not really a reason that they should be shit.
even like Jesse Hogan's like a competent key forward
Yep.
now. Like this is
I like little glimpses of Jake Riccardi. There's Jesse Hogan. There's
I'm not sold on
Himmelberg.
Riccardi, but
I like Riccardi. There's Himmelberg who can go both ways. The midfield's like fully
Himmelberg's
fit, like
another-
Kelly, Cogs, Whitfield off half back or
Yeah,
on a
Tom
wing.
Green.
Tom Green, of course. Ash getting around.
You know, he's
the
depth
defence is
in
pretty
one ear.
solid.
Who?
Tom Green. I think I saw that somewhere.
Is that hereditary?
Nah.
Or?
Is that hereditary? Which year?
No, we never ever paid for hearing aids. Ever.
Anyway, continue.
Well, I just don't understand why they're not very good.
No, I just think that the imbalance of the list, like the back end, the top end is great, and then they've got the kids coming through.
And is it
you're
just
like,
they're
oh.
young? Because there's not that many like role players. I'm saying I would think he's no good. Like you see him, and go, oh, he's got like got something to offer.
It's almost like they need to burn that list down and start again. Like
Yeah.
Cornelio, Whitfield, Kelly,
Get another
same
couple of
names. They're probably better to try and.
It's just a tough one, right? Because they probably feel like they're on the precipice. and then to burn it to the ground's like a big call, obviously.
Yeah.
I think they also probably haven't had a look at their best kids, like Cooper Hamilton they like, but he's been injured. Darcy Jones
got an extension. Got an
extension. Was he like late first round or early second or something?
He's really, really... I liked him more than any other guy.
The number one
he's
pick,
a good prospect.
More and more seeing some marks.
I'm getting more excited about that. Yeah.
Just drop some set shots, look a bit shit.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Anyway, it went through on the weekend.
Hawthorn.
I've got the Hawks, and I'm going to give them the bullet.
Oh. Don't want to go into it.
I can't do 2 minutes on how good they are at the under age of 24 and then get the 100 points down at half time. Move on.
All right, North Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm got North. I want to have a look at George Wardlaw. He was so good.
Yeah.
That candy to Zach Merritt.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've literally got written here, shimmy Zach Merritt.
Yeah.
Like that was unreal. Just a little touches and the flicks.
Look at Jacko's notes. He's got a highlighter in there.
And neat.
Yeah.
I've always been a little bit neat. I just like the little knock-ons and the clever stuff, and I think he's really good. And I loved from who's that? I almost said Brad Scott. Brett Ratton.
Yeah.
I liked from Brett Ratton the last centre bounce that sort of decided the game.
Yes.
Wardlaw, Sheasel, Wilfill.
Yeah.
I know Greenwood was out and there was Simpkin was out as well.
Oh, Will Phillips. I was like, who? What?
Oh, Will Phillips.
What's that
Mate,
sound?
but Phillips, you're tipping your hat to Will Phillips at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing some nice things.
Yeah.
Powell's another one that just every now and then does some nice things.
Well, what pick
I
was
liked him.
Phillips?
He was like
Three because he was taken before Logan
three.
McDonald.
I'm seeing Phillips last 2 weeks and thinking that mightn't be a miss. I think he might be a very good player. And the confidence you get, he's going for coffees with Wardlaw, Sheasel. They're hanging out. They're going out on a Saturday night when they're allowed to have a little beer.
And now you're
they're
building
becoming
that weight
mates.
of talent.
And all of a sudden, Phillips is not 18 and relying on... North Melbourne was a pretty hard place to be drafted to 3 or 4 years ago. All of a sudden, I think they're building a little environment and culture amongst those young kids.
I think we're seeing more value to the splitting early pick. Like, put it on. You got to pick one, put it on the table, and get 6 and 10.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but West Coast would have had Wardlaw, and now they've got Jimby and Hewitt.
You don't like Jimby?
Not over Wardlaw.
Yeah, but that's a
We've
one
only
player.
seen him in 3 games. I like Jimby.
Well, I'm also talking
over
about
Wardlaw.
I'm also talking about North Melbourne tabling.
Well, no, but you just said you're seeing the value. You just said you're seeing the value.
I've only
I've seen the
Wardlaw
value of West
3
Coast too.
times.
I think they need that.
No, I agree. They split the picks. I'm
Yeah,
going
you
to take
split
the
the
piss,
picks,
but it's just funny.
Why do you hate Reuben Jinby?
No, I don't. I love Wardlaw. Yeah. Hands down. And I'm not buying into the narrative about Brett Ratton over Clarkson.
No.
Spare me that.
We'll see. Well, it's Class Cocko's call.
Although I would love to see Brett Ratton get another gig. I just
Again?
Again?
Yeah, 100%.
Mate.
This guy can coach.
We
could coach
understand
at
you're
St
10 years
Kilda.
old, but you know he coached Carlton a while.
No, I know that.
his first rodeo.
He could coach at St Kilda and he was
No,
hard
thanks.
done by, and every time he goes in
No.
somewhere, he makes shit happen.
I'm going now. I used to be, there's another chance, but like I'm on now. Just get a fresh eyes over it. Unless like they were a well-proven coach, get fresh eyes.
I'm on the
Michael
train.
Voss, Brett Ratton, no. West
Thanks,
Coast.
Nick.
Yeah, I'm on board now. So the whole to-go debacle. You know what irritated me the most out of all of it? Well, there must not be a lot else going on. It seemed like a pretty legitimate bump gone wrong to me.
Yeah, I just thought it was late.
Yeah, it's just late. But I hate how they wound it back. Like, stick to your guns. I agree. I think Hutchie said something on Footy Classified, and I agree wholeheartedly. If the club has not got a lot going right for it at the moment, and if its members are pissed off and you're pissed off, then be pissed off. Don't then apologise for it.
I disagree.
I think with everything going on at the Eagles, they need to get back to informing members, especially after the whole, Nick Nutt's okay, but actually he's out for the year.
But they never did that. So this is a learning process for them. Even when they were good, they never...
No, true, but I think they probably just need to go back to yep, we're shit, this is what we're doing, and just informing the members, because Liam Duggan's one match ban didn't get an Instagram post. So you can't say, we're just keeping our members updated.
That's my point.
Because you've got your own top 5 player.
I think that you just worry about what's going inside your 4 walls. Jordan De Goe's not in your 4 walls.
Yeah.
I know it was against
But
West
the
Coast.
apology...
It was a late bump. It wasn't
vicious.
Well, it was, but it wasn't.
But a vicious football act.
It wasn't an elbow to the face.
It was a football act.
Yeah, it was a footballing act. It was late. He's going to get 3 or 4 weeks. He's not getting 10 or 12.
Yeah.
He's not being deregistered. It wasn't a king hit. I just think it's a fart in a bottle that's now got too far.
Yep.
I think West Coast just need to tighten the four walls up.
Yeah, but
And
so
the less stuff that's coming out for a little while, the better, and then play some good footy.
like, so we can argue about doing it in the first place, but for me, whenever West Coast have been at their best, and they've always been I've probably been critical of them along the journey. Never explain, never apologise.
Yeah, punch before getting punched, but they don't have the boxing gloves.
Well,
So they've just got to just sit back and simmer.
But it was
They don't
very-
need any more stories.
That was one of the most un-West. I mean, there's been a lot of un-West Coast-like things we've seen, and that was add that to the pile.
I agree with both of you. I wouldn't have done it, but I wouldn't have apologised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have done it. So I wouldn't have to worry about an apology.
Correct.
I just wouldn't have done it.
All right, now we get on to...
Sorry, Jordan.
Cowboys.
Jordan to go how long? Sorry, before we do go.
4 for me.
4, down to 3 or flat 4?
4 for me.
what did Picky get?
2 for the rocket launcher.
I forgot that.
But I don't think that was right either.
That was also my point. I was like, the rocket launcher was worse than DeGoey's.
Yeah. What do you mean?
that was 10 weeks ago.
Feet
Just
like
and
wound
launching his
himself
shoulder.
up and-
What about so they're saying like
Did the old Popeye.
10 years ago, DeGoey's hit you. 10 weeks ago, he's getting 1 week for it.
2 weeks. I think 4.
Yeah, I think 3, but anyway.
You can argue it down, but
Yeah.
see how it
3 or
goes.
4. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, we'll take it. Our boys, what do you got? I can't remember who we went last week, so just...
Mine were Nash, and mine were Mitch Lewis, I think.
yeah, that sounds right.
What are you laughing at?
Not this week, I take it?
No, I'll back it up.
Oh.
They're staying the same.
They're staying the same.
They're both on notice, though. Any more slip-ups and they're gone. But no Sicily last week. No Sicily, no Hawthorn. I've been saying it for 5 years.
Right, who you got?
Ash Johnson.
Is your man?
Oh,
Yeah.
like it.
I love WA boys that go over and just like light up the MCG,
Don't
athletic.
know if you know, but I met him a long time ago.
Oh.
No, I have heard that story.
Have you ever had a good corky? Like a good corky?
Nah.
That was
Nah,
a
not like
vicious corky. We were in the box and he broken his
Well, I
leg.
thought he'd done his knee.
Yeah.
The way he went down and
And I went with, I think it's just a corky. And boys like, nah, couldn't be. But if you've had a cork like that, it's almost like you've
that
broken
was
your
like
leg.
point of the knee into the belly of the muscle.
He might not play this week. I'm telling you.
Well, he came back out, and that almost makes me think he's gone, I'll run this off and deal with
well,
it.
you have to keep moving. If you sat there, you're done.
So Ash Johnson's my number one, and
Love it.
on a similar theme, Liam Baker.
The
is my
candlestick
number
maker.
2. Yeah, just does a bit of everything. He's an angry little nugget.
Yeah,
and I
clean as
love
a
him.
whistle
Yeah.
below his knees. Yeah, I'm a Baker man.
So I'm going to stick with...
Jeez, I like them. I'd probably
Thanks,
slip
mate,
them.
yeah.
I'm sticking with Orsheen until he gets dropped. he stays in the crown. But the backup, no, I miss on the weekend, so I'll slot in another big goal kicker, and we'll go the big Luco.
Oh,
Jack
Lukosius.
the Darwin
The king of
specialist.
Darwin.
The king of Darwin.
The king of Darwin.
Holding out,
Give him the
holding
keys.
out Chol. Chol kicked 50 and he can't get in now because that's Lukosius has shifted into that role.
No, I like that. And I like for Lukosius that he's finally got a spot that it feels like it's his.
Yeah.
And nothing
Funnily
to do
enough,
with you,
it's the
but
spot he was drafted in.
yeah, but there was holes through the whole of Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And you got a bloke that kicks it beautifully, got a reasonable amount of height, you can find space, and you're trying to fill holes. And in the end, you go, just play forward and kick goals if you can. Yeah. You only need 6 kicks and you kick goals.
Yeah, 5. All right, it's been the Hardball Gets AFL show, proudly brought to you by the Mazda BT50. You do Ute. We'll see you next time.